Hey everyone of which is the moon. This week we're talking about how where do we go after all this? Um, so I'm a big believer in reincarnation. I don't think any energy is wasted in the universe, and I think it does get reused. Um, I think there was someone a long time ago that I heard was saying that all the atoms in the universe are have been used for different things throughout different times. So you might have an atom that used to be in a volcano inside you, or an atom that was a camel, and so on and so forth. And I'm a big believer. At one point, we were everything, and I think our consciousness is just trying to figure things out along the way. Um, as far as my take on reincarnation is, I mean, I'm a big believer in it because I've had um, awakenings, visions, and whatnot of my past lives, or I've had, you know, people in my life that um, I pretty much knew them before I met them. Dia is one of those people, one of our hosts on here, aka Oreo Oasis. She's someone that I really feel that we were definitely connected at some point in our lives, our past lives, and I think me and her have this almost like this wisdom bond. Um, I almost feel like whatever she learns, I learn, and whatever I learn, she learns. And I don't know if that is something from our past lives, or if we're connected spiritually or whatnot. But I've always felt that bond with her, as well as her friend Rebecca. But I think Rebecca, I don't know. I feel like Rebecca might have been like a sister in my past life or something like that. Um, as far as anything else, I've had dreams where I was a wolf. So, I mean, someone earlier this week, I don't know if it was Natalie or Jen or so on, said that you can be animals in your past life. I definitely feel, yeah, you can be an animal in your past life. I've definitely felt like I was a wolf in my last life. I've had a reoccurring dream over and over and over in childhood, that I was this wolf, and I was basically eating like the people that were around in the village, and these it looked like 1800s here in America. And like I was eating the people, because one of the things that, if you know history, when we were coming over here, not only did we have to fight, with the Native Americans, which I am part Native American, they had to fight with the wildlife. And one of the things um, that gave, settlers a lot of trouble were wolves. They were killing their sheep, they were killing them and everything. And I feel like, I don't know if my Native American side, you know, I had a past life as a Native American, and that Native American decided to be a guardian of their area, and started basically killing these people. And I have some wicked ass dreams about that. Um, do I have any other? The only other reincarnation experience that I had is, as a kid, I spent some months in the hospital, and I had, three major surgeries in a small amount of time. And one of the surgeries that I went under, and I kind of remember being over my body. and kind of seeing some things of what they were doing to me. As well as I met like another spirit there, which is really weird. And this is, I think, where Buddhism has come into my life. Um, it was a monk that I talked to. I don't know if it was a monk there that was passed away, or if the a spirit of a monk just decided to find me in this weird time of need that I was in. But one of the weird things that I was talking about, in this in between space with the monk was, um, I can't quite remember the whole thing, but I remember talking to him like, I don't think I can go back, or I don't think I want to go back. He goes, no, you gotta go back. How else am I gonna get back? And I never understood that part of that weird dream or in between place that I had. And I didn't realize what exactly happened, or I never really digested that, I guess, until later on in my 20s when I was discovering more about Buddhism. And sometimes, you make these pacts with the bodhisattvas or Buddha like spirits, and they kind of watch over you. And I think I kind of like took one into my body at a certain point, and that's how they um, gave me wisdom and knowledge. Um, I don't know. It's a really weird experience, and I'm still trying to kind of digest it a bit. But the only thing that I've ever really came close to it that's similar than that the experience, there was an author, and he wrote about these weird, bizarre things. And one of the things that he wrote about is that he was had an accident as a kid, and he fell out of a tree or something, and he pretty much was going to die. And the spirit came to him, which was happened to be a monk as well. And the monk said, if you let me take over your body and complete my work that I have to give to the earth, to humanity, basically, then you won't die. I can do my best to heal your body. And that was the whole story. One of the start of like this whole journey into this of this guy that basically was got possessed by this monk, and was healed. And it was a really really bizarre book. I forget the name of it. I think the book's called The Third Eye. But that's all I remember from it, and that's very similar as to what happened to me. I remember being in this place, and they were operating on me, and they're telling me to count down. I remember doing that, and I remember things just coming out of my body, and it was really weird because everything was bright. And it's almost like they describe you like, oh, you start seeing these lights, and then I remember, I feel like the floaty head feeling, and then I seen this monk, and then we had this conversation. I don't remember all of the conversation that I have, but I remember one of the pieces of the conversation that I do remember, that has come back to me, is that I kind of didn't want to go back. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go back. These are things that are going on in my life, and I just feel like, maybe there's something better for me. And, I was 13 years old saying this, um, and the monk was like, no, 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 no. How else am I going to get back? And it was just a very weird thing that had happened. There's other stuff that we were kind of talked about, and I remember fragments of some of that. I want to go on into discussion about that, but that's kind of um, how I became a believer of the past life, or the very least an out of body experience. So if we can have an out of body experience, what's to say that we can't have an afterlife experience? So hopefully you got all that. All right, that's all I'm gonna say on the topic. But I appreciate you guys following the channel. Sorry guys to anyone last week who was looking for my video. I did not put one up on the offerings. That's kind of why I have this set up the way it is, why you're not seeing me talk. Because I wanted to show you some of the things that I offer. One of the things that I do is water offerings. And basically I pour water into these bowls. I don't do it really quickly or anything. I pour one into one bowl, and then I kind of have a 1 or 2 minute kind of meditation. I say a mantra, and then I go on to the other ones. And water and offerings are the cheap, the least expensive way out of your pocket, and it's a good way to kind of awaken some spirits as well. Like if you follow, names are not coming to me right now. It's late at night. But if you follow like any water deity, like Poseidon or Yemiya or anything like that, definitely I would get into the water offering practice. I do this every day. And the thing is I do it in the morning, and then at night I pour the water back into the same jug. And then in the morning I'll pour it back in there. This is a great way to get charged water as well. These are actually copper. So I can actually use the water in spells later, but right now they are specific just for, this water is specific for just as an offering, just as a things to the Buddhas that look after me, or the spirits that look after me. It's kind of like a thank you for like keeping track of me and keeping me where I need to be. Another thing for offerings is incense, air, and then light offerings, as such as a candle, are good. And then of course, you can charge your skulls like I have here with different intentions and put them on for offerings. Like for a lot of people who might know me and that are my clients that work with me, know that I am very big into crystal healing. And I pretty much take one of my skulls and I dedicate them in your honor, and I use that as a vessel to heal you. And then when you're done, I clear the skull out and I put it away for a couple months, and then I use it for another person. I do have quite the collection of skulls, so usually people get to pick what skull they want. They feel that represents them, but that's just how I do it. I wouldn't call my work Reiki. My stuff is more like soul healings and stuff like that. More Native American type healings, but that's kind of what I do. So you can offer skulls and stones and stuff like that and charge them and give them over to your deity for whatever energy they need or whatever purpose that you're asking for. I also give flowers here and mantras. Mantras are really, really good as far as an offering, because everything starts with the word. In the Bible, it starts off, the world started off with God's word. So that's kind of like I've always used that as my the way of explaining mantras. If you don't know where you're going, then find a moment with yourself and trying to figure out the words that best describe you, that are the words that you want to describe you, and use those in your mantra and start saying it every day over and over, so you keep pulling yourself into that direction. That's why mantras are the unspoken gem that a lot of people don't use in their life, and I really feel like it can benefit a lot of people if they do the daily mantra work. I think that's all I have for you guys. I was trying to combine 2 videos into one because I did miss last week. Let's see what else. And another good thing is, I don't know if you can see that gold thing back there. That's called a yantra. Yantra. For anyone that kind of like follows the Hinduism uh, pantheon, for some reason I really like that one. That one's actually dedicated to Ganesh, and Ganesh is someone that I like working with as well. That's another good thing that you can get for an offering. You can actually charge that. Um, that's actually something that gets blessed and it gets sent to you by a temple. And I don't know. Ever since I've got that, I've and offered it over to Ganesh. You know, there's been a strong connection that I've been feeling. Um, all right, I think I covered everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, guys, and I will see you next week. You have a good one.